Hare Krishna. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 2, contents of the Gita summarized, verse number 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshyati maruta. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there are many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly there were other weapons made of all different kinds of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to the modern science. Nor do modern science have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. So here is a description of different kinds of weapon that the ancient forefathers knew about. They were, it seems, much more advanced than us in terms of scientific discoveries and inventions. Today's scientists feel proud of their achievements, but it seems like in the past our country had much more advancement in science. They could create weapons of all different material elements like fire, water, ether, and so on, which are unknown to today's scientists. And the Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. The impersonalists, the Advaita school of philosophy, their take is that they say that the individual soul came into existence because of ignorance, and because of ignorance it got covered by Maya. They say that the individual soul is a fragment of the super soul. Hence, it's exactly same as a super soul. There is no difference, they say. And because that individual soul, the fragment of the super soul, got covered by ignorance / Maya, therefore, we individual souls, we find ourselves in this material world. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original super soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul. So the Advaita philosophy, which says that the Supreme Soul got fragmented into pieces and that individual parts and parcels are exactly same as the Super Soul. But it is not possible to cut the Super Soul. The Super Soul is the Supreme God. God cannot be cut into pieces. Therefore, we cannot that could not be our origin, that we got cut off from the source and we got covered in ignorance. That philosophy or that argument does not hold weight. Because their atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy, and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. So Srila Prabhupada here explains that we individual souls have always been separated parts and parcel of the super soul. It is not that at some point the individual soul broke away from the super soul and got enveloped in ignorance and came into existence. That argument is not true. Just as the fire, sparks of the fire that come out of the fire are similar in quality to the fire, we individual souls are similar in quality to our source, the Supreme Soul. They are eternally so according to Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Now, if you come across an Advaita philosophy person, they always say, they often give the example of a pot filled with water and the pot breaking and the water mixing with the rest of the water in a sea or river or whatever. The pot signifies our human body. Their philosophy is that at the time of death, we cease our individual existence and we merge with the Supreme Brahman. However, Arjuna is the separate living entity, and after liberation, when Arjuna became liberated after hearing the Bhagavad Gita from the Lord, he does not merge into the Lord. Arjuna never becomes Krishna. Krishna is Krishna, Arjuna is Arjuna. They don't become one. So that theory of the souls merging into the Supreme Lord and becoming one is not true, according to Bhagavad Gita. Now we move on to the verse number 24. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shoshevacha nitya sarvagatasthānur achaloyam sanatana. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Purport. All these qualifications of the individual soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monoism is very difficult to apply in this case, because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the theory that the individual souls merge with the Supreme Soul and they lose their identity and individuality. See, as said earlier, the Supreme Personality of Lord Godhead has got there's three types of understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is the understanding in the basic level, which is the Brahman. And that Brahman is the energy of the Lord. It is the effulgence coming out from the Lord. Just as the sun rays come out from the sun planet, the effulgent rays radiate out from the Supreme Lord, and that rays are called Brahman. That is the very basic understanding of the Supreme Lord. The other, above that, is the understanding that Paramatma form of the Lord, where the Lord sits in every individual's heart as a Paramatma. And the most highest understanding of the Lord is in the form of the Krishna. You know, the personalized form of Krishna holding a flute. Now those who want to, you know, the Buddhist, the Jain, the Advaita school, all these people, the end goal of their life is to merge into the Brahman, and they call that liberation. Yes, you can merge into the Brahman if you so desire. However, you will not feel any bliss in that state, because the nature of the soul is to, as I said, always serve the Supreme Lord. That is the nature of the soul. So you're going against the nature by merging into the Brahman. It is a state of limbo. There's no activity. You just merged. It is called a spiritual suicide, merging into the Brahman. So you can merge into the effulgence of the Lord and merge into the so-called, become one with the Lord. But the intelligent souls do not like it. They do not want to do the spiritual suicide. The word Sarvagata, all-pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on land, in water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable, because it's clearly stated that the soul cannot be burnt by fire. Therefore, there's no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata, quote, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. So here in the verse number 24, it says, Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shusha evacha nitya sarvagatastanur achaloyam sanatana. Sarvagatastanur, which means it's all pervading, it's everywhere, it's not localized. So everywhere means sun is also a part of the everywhere. There's a sun in the sky, and it is the most hottest part that we know of. So if the soul is capable of being everywhere, that includes the sun also. So the soul, there are souls that can live inside the sun planet. The soul cannot be burnt. The previous verse says that the soul cannot be burnt. So there are living entities who can live in the sun planet also. They are not burned by the fire. So this purport, the nature of the soul is described. Soul is not killed by any weapon. It is not killed by nuclear bomb. It's not killed by fire, water, and so on. And the soul is all pervasive. It can go everywhere, which includes the sun planet also. So the soul can even survive in the hot sun. So with that, I stop today's video. We finish verse number 24. Hope you've benefited and understood something. Please share your feedback and share this video with your friends and family, and give a thumbs up if you like it. Thank you so much for being there and for listening. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See you next time. Till then, Hare Krishna.